Welcome to the Bay. All right, we've got a real title fight on our hands tonight. This one's for the heart and soul of the mainstream PC gaming market. In one corner, you've got AMD's brand new challenger, the RX 9060 XT, and it's packing a massive VRAM punch. And in the other corner, NVIDIA's reigning champ, the RTX 5060, armed with its legendary AI and ray tracing tech. Folks, this is the battle for the 1440p crown.
This whole fight really boils down to one crucial question for your next PC build. Do you bet on more raw memory to kind of future-proof your rig? Or do you invest in those smarter AI-powered pixels for amazing features like ray tracing? Well, this whole explainer, which is built on a super deep dive analysis from our friends over at bestgpusforgaming.com, is going to help you answer exactly that.
So, here's our fight card for today. We're going to kick things off with a pure frame rate brawl, then jump into a round on all the cool tech and features. After that, we'll hit the judges' scorecard for the all-important price per frame verdict before, helping you figure out which card is the right one for you.
Okay, let's get right into it. Round 1. This is all about pure, traditional gaming performance. We are talking rasterization here. No fancy ray tracing, no upscaling magic, just raw frames per second. How hard can these cards punch right out of the box? Let's take a look at the numbers.
First up, we've got the heavyweight champion of demanding games, Cyberpunk 2077. At 1440p on high settings with ray tracing turned off, the RX 9060 XT lands a really solid first punch. It's pulling ahead with 94 frames per second, a pretty noticeable lead over the RTX 5060's 85. Now, let's switch gears to a super fast-paced racer. In Forza Horizon 5 at 1440p Ultra, it's pretty much the same story. Team Red's card really stretches its legs here, hitting a blistering 150 FPS and leaving the RTX 5060 in the rearview mirror at 137. And what about the competitive scene, right? I mean, in a game like Fortnite, where every single frame counts, the RX 9060 XT once again just delivers the higher number. It's pushing 175 FPS against the 5060's very, very respectable 162. So when the bell rings at the end of round 1, the verdict is it's crystal clear. Across a whole bunch of different games, the data from bestgpusforgaming.com shows the RX 9060 XT is holding about an 11% average performance lead in raw rasterization. That's a decisive win for AMD in the raw power department. But listen, raw power isn't the whole story. Not even close. For round 2, we're looking at the special moves. This is where each card gets to unleash its unique technologies that can, and I mean this, completely change your gaming experience. This is where a performance gap can suddenly turn into a massive lead. Now, what's so interesting here is how this shows two completely different game plans. AMD is betting big, and I mean big, on that huge 16GB VRAM buffer in its open-source FSR3 upscaling. NVIDIA, on the other hand, is just doubling down on its proprietary AI-powered DLSS4 and its much stronger ray tracing hardware. And this is where the fight gets really complicated. Remember that 11% lead for AMD? Well, flip on ray tracing in a game like Cyberpunk, and the RTX 5060's beefier RT cores and DLSS can just completely flip the script, often giving you a way smoother experience. For anyone who might not know, DLSS is kind of NVIDIA's secret weapon. It uses dedicated AI hardware, they call them tensor cores, to intelligently upscale a lower resolution image. And the latest version can actually generate entirely new frames out of thin air, plopping them right in between the rendered ones. This gives you a massive boost in how smooth the game feels. It's how the RTX 5060 can overcome that rasterization gap and just punch way above its weight class in games that support it. So what's AMD's counter? It's FSR3. It does a similar thing, but its killer feature is that it's open source. And what that means is it can run on a huge variety of hardware, even on NVIDIA's own GPUs. It's like the universal adapter of performance tech. Now, while it's an amazing option to have, the analysis at bestgpusforgaming.com does note that DLSS usually keeps a slight edge when it comes to image quality, and it's got wider support in those really ray tracing heavy games. All right, we've seen the raw power, we've seen the special moves. Now it's time to bring in the factor that, for most of us builders, is the most important one, the price. Let's head over to the judges' scorecard and see which of these cards really offers the best bang for your buck. Okay, looking at the tail of the tape here, the key differences just jump right out at you. The RX 9060 XT is offering double the VRAM, 16 gigs. That is huge for games coming down the pike. But the RTX 5060 is a little more power efficient, and this is crucial, it comes in $50 cheaper at just $299. So when you do the raw math, just dividing the average rasterization frames by the price, the RTX 5060 actually squeaks out a tiny, tiny victory in pure FPS per dollar. But, and this is a big but, as the full analysis on bestgpusforgaming.com points out, that one little number does not tell the whole story about long-term value. And this quote just brilliantly illustrates the final verdict from the source. That extra 15% in price for the 9060 XT, it buys you that 11% performance lead and double the VRAM. And for a lot of people, that 16GB buffer is the key. It's what's going to keep you from having to turn down texture quality in games coming out next year and beyond, which really does make it the better long-term investment.
So the judges have kind of declared a winner on overall value. But look, the best card for the money isn't always the best card for you. Let's break this down based on a few different types of gamers. We're going to help you pick your corner and figure out which one of these GPUs is the right fit for your next build.
So, if you're a 1440p gamer and you just want to crank those settings up to ultra, get the highest native frame rate you can for your dollar, and not have to worry about VRAM for years, then the AMD RX 9060 XT is your card. Simple as that. It's a workhorse built for pure performance and longevity. However, maybe that's not you. Maybe you absolutely love seeing those beautiful ray-traced reflections, and you want to use DLSS 4 to push frame rates to the absolute limit in the games that support it. If that's you, then the RTX 5060 is your champion. It's for the gamer who values those cutting-edge features more than raw rasterization power. And hey, for all you streamers and content creators out there on a budget, the choice is pretty clear. The RTX 5060's superior NVENC encoder for streaming, plus its whole suite of creator tools like broadcast and studio drivers, it just provides a level of value that goes way beyond gaming performance. It's basically a mini production studio in a single PC slot. Of course, these are just a few examples. The full article over at bestgpusforgaming.com breaks down even more gamer profiles and has tons of additional benchmarks, so definitely be sure to check that out.
And that brings us all the way back to the central question, doesn't it? As you start planning your next build, what's your play going to be? Are you betting on the long-term safety of having more memory, or are you investing in the immediate power of smarter AI-driven pixels?
For the complete analysis that powered this whole explainer, with all the detailed benchmarks and pricing, make sure you visit bestgpusforgaming.com. Until next time, keep it cool and keep building.